I am the oddball in the investment and philanthropic circles for sure, because I think that we have built this system on a very masculine only trajectory of like push hard, hustle hard, go after the biggest dollar amount. And what I've gotten really present to is like, I know a lot of people up there at the top, and I can't name one that's actually happy and feels successful.
Welcome to the Mastry Experience. I'm your host, Francesca Sipma, and we are diving deep into mental mastery. This is where self-awareness meets peak performance. You're going to witness the truth behind personal development, emotional breakthroughs, dissolving triggers, getting into flow state, discovering purpose, and most importantly, mastering intuitive action. And we do this through a process called HypnoBreathwork. This is your community committed to breaking behavior patterns, getting into alignment, pursuing excellence, and self-mastery. Let's do the work. This is the Mastry Experience. Shout out to Huel for sponsoring and partnering with the Mastry Experience. Hannah Kohlberg, welcome to the Mastry Experience.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. We start every show with a question from our Mastery card deck. And your question today is, who are you becoming when no one's watching?
Ooh, I love that. Who am I becoming when no one's watching? I feel like it's just the best version of myself, but it's really tapping into the universe and like just becoming more loving every day that I'm here, because I feel like that's really what the world needs more of right now. And that seems like a big goal some days, but if I can just be more loving with one person, the coffee barista, my kids, their teachers, like that's what I'm here for.
That's so powerful. And I was going to actually have you dive a little deeper into the qualities of what your highest self looks like, because for some of us, our highest self qualities that are really innate are the ones that other people struggle to have, and vice versa. So love in the world in its current state today feels almost ambitious, you know?
Yes.
And I was actually going through, that's so crazy that you said love, because I was going through love in my meditation this morning and trying to just like get into the heart space. And it was actually really hard for me to think of somebody that I just had like pure love, no resentment, no other past emotions, like just fully open and unconditional. So that's expansive for me. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So you are many things. You've been a co-founder, you're an investor. I find you to be a really exceptional advisor, and you're also a HypnoBreathwork coach. And you're a bit of a personal development junkie.
That is true.
So tell us a little bit about how you were just drawn to the world of growth and bettering yourself. What happened on your journey?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like from a very young age, I was a truth teller. And in the 80s, that was not a great thing to be, with parents who just didn't understand and didn't have the capacity for that. So I struggled a lot in my childhood experience of just not belonging. And I had this deep knowing that like there was somewhere I was supposed to be and something I was supposed to do while I was here. And so through years of therapy, depression, lots of traversing teenage years with a lot of struggle, when I got to college, it was like the first time I was like, oh, I belong here. Like there's a group of people I belong with. And so when I left college, I had another like come to Jesus moment of what do I do now? And so I happened to stumble into, I think at the time it was Lori Harder's event. And it just kind of started me on the trajectory of like, okay, therapy can be great for people who have a lot of trauma to deal with in the past, but I kept finding like the past is not where my future is. So there's this disconnect. So I think I've been in probably every name you can think of. I've been in a room with them. I've read all of the books. And for me, finding breathwork was the first time it was like shut the mind off and get into the body. So all of that stuff that I had done actually got integrated. So it was like I'd been training for that for like 3 decades. And so for me, it's become just like a magic wand.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because you have all that information and knowledge and wisdom, because I've seen you in many rooms now. You did the HypnoBreathwork certification, and then you also did the Bali retreat. And while we were in Bali, you were just dropping bombs on everybody. You had all this insight and wisdom and knowledge. And for me, like, I feel like I was getting like daily texts from you. And I was like, okay, seed is planted, and then it would come into fruition the next day. So it's not like all the other trainings or courses or certifications were wasted. They were all stored in your subconscious. And then the breath sort of unlocked who got what when.
Yes.
Would you say?
Exactly. I feel like the breath for me, I get to become a vessel of like whatever's necessary just comes to me, so I can verbalize it for the person in the room with me.
What would you say, because you weren't actually exposed to any of my classes or any of those things, and you just kind of intuitively decide to join the certification. So what was kind of going on for you where you were attracted to that?
Yeah, so I was going through a major life transition at the point where I found breathwork, and I had a coach, and he is amazing. I still work with him. And for me, it was like, okay, how do I train in this? How do I help people in this? And the offerings out there just weren't landing. And I happened to be talking to a friend of mine who lives internationally, and she's like, I'm going to attend this HypnoBreathwork certification in Amsterdam in July. I was like, HypnoBreathwork, let me look that up. And I was literally moving back from abroad back to San Diego in April of 2025, and the certification was in May. And I was like, sure, why not? What else am I doing?
Yeah.
And showing up, it was just like, again, one of the most transformative moments of my life of like, oh, this is what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
And not only this, but like this was very clearly for me a step forward on the path that I meant to be on.
Yeah, I feel like I already have chills already. But I feel like you get a lot of creative downloads for your business and almost visions of your future self and what to do next. And I want to talk about that a little bit, because I feel like there's a disconnect for people in sort of the downloads that happen in a breathwork session, and then how to actually co-create and make those come to life. And you've kind of been in the trenches of that. So will you talk about that process a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say I'm a former overthinker, and what breathwork has allowed me to do is like have that really big vision and then let it go and let it chill out there as my North Star, but really take each session and just take that next action without it having to prove something, be enough out there in the future. And some of them are really annoying, like just be. Like that one comes up so often, and I'm like, no, there's no juice here. Yeah. But when I'm able to just be, I get so much value in like just being in energy with somebody else, just being able to tap into like what's there for them, what can I say that will elevate their next thing, because I truly believe the collective is the only way things change. And if I'm just focused on me and my business and getting to the top, when I get to the top, it's not going to be worth it.
Wow, that's a beautiful lesson. You teach me so many lessons, honestly, like not even intentionally. Okay, so I have 2 things that are coming up for me around that. Yesterday, I had a really annoying action step, and I text Steve that it was annoying. I text Em that it was annoying. And the action step was to create a guide of all the places I went to in New York City last weekend and send it out in an email. And I was like, what does this have to do anything with my business? And it's so tedious to sit there on Canva and to come up with all of my favorite things that I ate. And I'm like, this is just so disconnected to my big visions and my big goals. But, you know, I'm trained to do every action step immediately. So I did it and I sent it out, and it got 2 downloads. And I was so frustrated and so annoyed that I had spent, you know, a couple hours in the morning putting that together. And then when I went back to like, if I can give somebody an epic New York experience and have that memory for a lifetime and just have that excitement and the energy of the city, okay. If it's one person that goes to one of the restaurants that I mentioned, it's worth it. But sometimes those action steps are just flat out annoying and they make no sense, and I still have them every day. So I just want to throw that out there. Now, one of the action steps that you had in Bali was so simple, and I think that this is what people don't understand. It's like there's a whole process that has to happen for you to create those big goals and those big dreams. Networks have to be formed, right? Systems have to go into place. You have to become psychologically somebody who can hold those types of things. And I think that your next action step was like create a Google Sheet. I start every morning with breathwork and meditation. I'm immediately in a creative flow state, and I get on my computer and I start banging out work. The next thing I know, it's already lunch and I haven't even eaten breakfast. Shout out to Huel for making sure that I'm still hitting my protein goals, because they have these delicious ready-to-drink meals packed with 35 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber. We have 27 different vitamins and minerals. My favorite part, you guys, no artificial sweeteners, and it comes in so many delicious flavors, including this chocolate, peanut butter, and my personal favorite, the iced coffee. And if you're looking for something where you can add your own fruits and veggies to it, then check out the Huel protein. All the same nutrients, but you can make it a little bit creamier, a little bit thicker. Shout out to Huel for sponsoring the Mastry Experience, and you can use our exclusive 15% off code. That's Huel.com/mastery. And Huel is actually now in Targets near you. So check them out. Shout out to Huel for supporting the Mastry Experience.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't remember them because they just live as like, okay, that's what I got to get done. And then, yeah, but I'm sure it was.
Yeah. Well, you talk about, you want to create something really beautiful around family dynamics. And I want to talk about it because I don't think that people think about how that entire like energy forms between, you know, every single person that has to be in harmony to be their best selves. So can you talk a little bit about the vision of the work you want to bring to families?
Absolutely. Yeah. My North Star is, and you know, all of our big dreams come from something that didn't work for us at some point in life, right? So my North Star out there is to really have family experiences where people get to connect with their kids and become their best selves as a family unit, because I think, well, I love Mastry, and I think it would be such an important tool for the kids and teenagers, especially out there with what they're dealing with. And the avenue is not through school. So that's just like, to me, that's a century-long adventure. And so I look at that, and in my heart, I'm like, no, it's through moms, it's through dads, it's through them being tapped in enough, regulated enough to model what that looks like. And I mean, you know, heart math, it's like when we are regulated and coherent, the room around us is regulated and coherent. When you walk into a room and you light it up, that's just your energy transmitting to everyone. And so to me, it's the domino effect of like, if we could start to affect family units, like that's the future. That's like, to me, like kids are the future. They are everything that matters for the future. And if we could give them these tools, how amazing would our future be? Like if they were tapped into the beauty that's just in a room, the energy that's just in a room. And that gets really overwhelming when I'm like, I host a retreat, an experience, like how would I have no audience, I have, you know, like to me that's huge. And so when I can break it down into breath steps, it's just like, okay, so I need to build an audience. Cool. My audience should probably be moms and dads, because that's, you know, down the road. And my audience is also my kids and their friends. And we've done some breathwork sessions together, and I like see how it lands. And it's just kind of like, you know, not throw spaghetti at the wall, but also like the, you know, the intuitive actions of like, you got to feel something when you created that guide. There was a feeling you created in your body, and you got to transmit that to somebody else. And that's what this whole life journey is about, in my opinion.
And I find that when I work with parents, it's a really amazing transition for them to go from their like very busy, overwhelmed and worried states of being into what is going on with their child. As soon as they see themselves when they were younger, or as soon as they get into their heart and they witness their child, it's like all of a sudden this emotion, you know, obviously comes up, but it's compassion, it's empathy, it's wanting to create, you know, the safest environment for them. It's wanting them to make sure that they never feel judged and they feel unconditionally loved. And I think because we are so busy as a society, taking those moments will really change, you know, the development of a child's future. Okay, so there was something that was coming through really loud in my breath work this morning that I think will be extremely expansive for entrepreneurs, for founders, for female founders. And it's the story of how you became an investor in Mastry. And I think it is one of the most, it's one of the biggest shifts that I've had for sure in the last year. And I didn't even realize how far dark in a hole I had gotten until I met you. And I feel like I want to tell everybody about how organic and how synchronistic things can happen when you're in a place of alignment. So after the certification, you sent me an email. Do you remember what the email said?
No, I don't. And I've been racking my brain for the last week since we talked about doing this podcast. I'm like, what was it that I said? I know like the gist of it, but so you're going to have to share.
Okay. So after the cert, you sent me an email and it was basically a testimonial that I could use in the future. And you said that I had like Beyonce level energy and I was mixing business with spirituality in a way that really clicked for you. And then at the very end, you said, and if you ever need an investor, please call me first. And I was really shocked when I got your email because I had no idea that you were an investor. It was just a group of like 10 women bearing our souls and like getting trained in breathwork, right? And at the time I wasn't raising money for Mastry, and I haven't raised in, I would say, 2 years because the investor fundraising process was honestly quite traumatic for me. And maybe I'd been avoiding it, but I think more I've been trying to figure out the strategy before I take on more money to make sure that we're using it in the smartest way. But my intuition was like, okay, have a call and just see where this goes. So I put together like a little pitch deck, like from where we've been to where we're transitioning to. And we got on a Zoom and I started pitching you. And then right in the middle of my slides, you just looked at me and you said, what would you do if you weren't driven by revenue? And I didn't even know. I feel like I'm so prepared for these meetings. Like I know my numbers. I know, I'm just like so ready. I mean, you completely stopped me in my tracks. I was so floored. Definitely have never had an investor ask me that type of question before. And you just like saw into my soul in that moment. And I said, I don't know. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to get back to you on this. And you're like, take your time. Breathe, meditate.
Yeah. Now it's all clicking back.
It's all clicking back. And I think initially I was like, we're going to use this funding for AI or for a head of business development, and I'm going to go hard in corporate. And when I reflected on your question, I said, I just want to launch a podcast. I want to launch a podcast so people can understand and hear the stories of how transformative breathwork is. I want them to see it and experience it and feel it and educate them. And I think that that's the next step in growing this business, even though it doesn't look linear, even though this isn't what a traditional investor, and you were like, I 100% believe in you and I want to move forward with you. I mean, I have full body chills right now.
Yeah, I am the oddball in the investment and philanthropic circles for sure, because I think that we have built this system on a very masculine only trajectory of like push hard, hustle hard, go after the biggest dollar amount. And what I've gotten really present to is like, I know a lot of people up there at the top, and I can't name one that's actually happy and feels successful. And that to me doesn't work. That to me is like we are calculating this with the wrong quantities. What if happiness, wealth means love? Like, what if those are the pillars we're aiming for? Like, again, what would the world look like if that were how business operated? And I also truly believe, like, with our intuition and what women can do differently than this world, which was set up. I mean, like, we weren't working 80 years ago. We were at home raising kids. So I do think that there is a shift that needs to happen too. There are so many powerful women doing such amazing things and running such great companies, but they're trying to do it the way it's been done.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work for who we are, like, and the love that we want to bring to the world. Like, every woman founder that I have talked to, when you boil it down, like, there's something amazing. They want to create a feeling for people, an experience for people. They don't actually want the more wealth. Yes, we all want to be able to like live in luxury and do the fun things, right? but it's not like the two aren't connecting when you really boil it down for most founders that I have talked to. And so that's what I was speaking to, like, what if the mark you're headed for isn't followed by a dollar sign?
Yeah.
You know?
It's interesting because when I started this journey, I felt like I was in such alignment. You know, I had just traveled the world and healed and did every modality and created my own, and I was just so in service. And I was obsessed with everyone's breakthroughs and hearing their stories. And then when Mastry started and I took on investors, I didn't even realize the change that was happening within me, but my ego was activated. You know, the pressure, the immense pressure I felt, and most of it I put on myself. I mean, I probably have 30 investors in a family and friends round, and 28 of them are absolutely amazing and completely believe in me. But the 2 that have really made me question myself or dilute my belief, those have been really, really big struggles for me on this journey. It's caused panic and anxiety, and I've definitely been building for the last 2 years. I want to say, you know, in 2022 and 2023, I woke up at 5 a.m. every day, was working till 11 p.m. I was just building. I didn't do anything else. I didn't go on walks. I didn't even go to the gym. I mean, I was just working. And one investor was still like, do you think that maybe you can take some time to actually work on this business? And I was like,
thank you, ego, in human form.
I mean, It was brutal. And I was spending all of my time doing like hundreds of events and just killing myself and traveling and doing partnerships and calls and follow-ups. And I mean, just getting rejected millions of times. And then to just be like completely discarded, you know, by certain people. And I don't regret any of it because I think I'm an adult, you're a grown up, you're an entrepreneur, you're going to go through these things, they're going to toughen you, they're going to build your self-worth. But it definitely took me out of alignment from the mission because I was so paranoid about showing revenue and the data and the numbers. And then when you said that to me, it was like you snapped me back into my mission. And it was just, I'm just forever grateful for you for that.
Oh, I love that. I love that it landed because, again, I feel like I just get these downloads and they're not for me, but they really change people's trajectory. And you hope and pray it's for the better. But I feel like you are an achiever born from the beginning. And so that's the beauty of what you do is you show people how spirituality and intuition and guided action can actually be a business. It can 10x you, but it can't be at the expense of who you are inside.
Yeah. I think it's just a really important note, and I want everyone to really absorb this conversation because it's not worth it to just take capital if it's not in alignment, because the price you'll pay for the energy leaks, the way it will drain you, the way it will mess with your creativity, I don't think it's fully worth it. So you have to just be in your worth, in alignment, in your knowing, and then the right people will come into your life as you did into mine. So I just find that to be such a just special and expansive story. And you're honestly the reason why we're here right now and this podcast has come to life. Now we were just saying before we started, remember we were just talking about this on Zoom a few months ago, and now here we are shooting. So it's really special.
I love when it's when you put something that's in full alignment out to the universe and trust and just sit back a little bit, obviously take action, but it all just comes to fruition. And it's not always the way you think it's going to be, but that's what to me is the magic. It's I'm no longer controlling the narrative. I'm just taking the action, and I'll know when it's time to pivot. I'll know when it's time to invest. I'll know when it's time to do something different.
Can I give you unsolicited coaching right now?
Of course.
We are constantly getting downloads for each other. And so there's something, we touched on it when you first got here, but I feel like because you and I have big dreams and big goals, we have this expectation of it to, kind of be here now and fast. But the universe is almost prepping us in this in-between phase to lose the ego. Mm-hmm. And I really believe, you have unbelievable insights. Your intuition is killer. And if you had more confidence in sharing that intuition when it comes through without expectations and outcomes, I feel like you will think that your intuition's a win if it comes to fruition or if the person validates it right away. And you need to just take all of that out. And it's just about you planting the seed and letting it go where it's meant to go.
Absolutely.
And you don't need to see that win right away necessarily.
Yeah, no, that is my lesson at the moment is like, okay, so if I felt completely fulfilled inside, like, then what actions would I be taking? Great. So I can create that. Like, that's the beauty of breath work is I can feel that already. I felt that before in my life. So if I come from there, validation is no longer necessary. Now what do I do? And that's been the last few weeks of my life. And clients are falling into my lap. People are calling me up and being like, hey, yeah, you want a podcast? I'm like, sure. Yeah. Sounds like a blast. Like, it's, again, it's like the more we can let go of the ego, the more the universe holds us and supports our dreams. And it's the hardest thing, as you know, like having that one human version of your ego being like, no, could you actually do some work? Like, it's just... And kids are a really good way to get your ego activated.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, you know that I'm going to be taking you through a private HypnoBreathwork session today.
Oh, I didn't. That's
you didn't know that? Oh, that's what we do on this show. Is we
I thought so. That's what we were talking about earlier. I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if you did that. Oh, I had no idea. Yay.
Yes. So is there anything that I can help you work through in this season of your life, or some expansive prompts I can give you?
Yeah, I feel like my ego thing that continues to come up is just the not enough. And I would love to like really just move that inside of this place where I'm at. I can see like if I operated from enough, what would be available. And there's still that piece that just comes up every time I, share, every time I'm in front of a camera on a podcast. Like, it's like, you're cute. And then right back to reality. So, yeah.
Let's chip away at it. Let's shift it. All right, let's do it.
Breathwork for me, the best way I can put it together is like, it's like going to the gym, and if you have a personal trainer and you see them once a month, but you're doing your videos in between, like the progress you make between sessions is epic. And if you're trying to go at it alone, the progress you make is just so challenging. But like having that coach, having that person guiding you is just like everything. So, yeah. Do you want me to dive right in?
Dive right in. Tell us about how your journey was today.
Yeah, so I have such a hard time verbalizing sessions, but what was flashing for me at the end was like just pour love into them. Like, just, that's all that matters. That's the transaction that is most valuable. And then the re-roll of like, when did I actually not feel enough? Like, I've done so much in our child work, right? Like, that's actually really complete for me. When I felt not enough was when my kids were little, and I was like tapped the F out, trying to be the best version of myself, and yet like just pouring out, and nothing was pouring in. And those are the women that I want to pour into, and I don't know how that looks, because they're not signing up for, the hour coaching. Like, the moms at that stage feel like they have no time and nothing left to give, and almost not the honor to like ask for something that fills them up, or where to look for that. But that was what was there for me, of just like pour into them however you can, in whatever forms you can. Like, you've got to start talking, you've got to start podcasting, because they need to hear your love. Like, the little girl's got it. She knows she's enough. Like, you did that. It was the young mom that was like, I'm not enough, and I don't know where to pour in from. Yeah. Thank you. Jeez. I feel like I've been chasing that one for like a year now. Like, where is this not enough still coming up? And it's because like, as a mom, all you want to do is be the best for your kids, and you don't want them to experience any of the stuff you did, like any of the negativities you did. And inevitably, you recreate that with where you haven't healed.
Well, moms, if you're listening, Hannah understands your journey on the deepest level, and she has the tool to help you move through that and release some of the overwhelm and the challenges that you're experiencing. But I think moms need the permission to know that that hour that you give yourself a week to breathe, to let go of everything you've been holding, the pressure, the stresses, the fear of how your kid's going to grow up, making sure that you're not making mistakes in their development. This is the tool that can help you really parent from a more whole place and model the type of person that you would want your kids to become.
Exactly. Just something to fill you up, and not in like you need to come back better, but we are all pouring from empty cups and there's nothing left to give there.
Powerful.
Magic. I told you this session was going to be magic.
And next action?
Next action is just to have my voice be out there. So book more podcasts. It wasn't clear. Like, it wasn't like do this one thing, but it was like you need to speak up. You need to, like, they need to hear you was the download.
I'm just laughing because you're literally taking the action step right now.
Yeah. Perfect.
Which is just so perfect. Just really beautiful to witness you, to watch you be so consistently curious about yourself and grow, and then use all of those insights to pour into other people. I agree with you. I think love is definitely what we need right now. We have all the other things,
and they're not making the difference.
Yeah. We have the hustle culture, and we have the business leadership books, and we have all the psychological concepts, but I think love is really hard to come by, and so for you to be that vessel and to be that person is really strong. So I commend you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like we have everything for the mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like that's all been done and it's out there. What we haven't done is really tap into our bodies, and our bodies are so much wiser. The mind tells us so many lies all day long, and the body tells the truth. And that's what I love about this work.
I think it's really important for investors to maybe hear that too, because I think if you're an entrepreneur and a founder, you have a certain set of skills and qualities. Like the grit is there, the drive is there, the organization, the relentlessness, all of these, skills that we're taught make successful people. But I will tell you that like the softness you gave me, and the belief and the grace and the love, it really gave me a new energy. And for that, I'm just so grateful in you bringing back my creative process. So thank you for that.
Oh, I love that. I feel like, it's just like everyone really wants to be held, in who they truly are and seen for who they truly are. And that's mama love. Like that's what mamas do, is hold that space when we can.
All right, moms, well, you know where to go for your own healing and for your own self-love. So Hannah, thank you so much for being here with us today. And for anybody at home who wants to experience a similar session to what Hannah did, I would actually recommend the parent category in the Mastry app. There's present parenting and there's patient parenting. And I think that would be lovely sessions for people to experience. So thank you, Hannah.
Thank you. It was awesome to be here.
Shout out to Huel for sponsoring and partnering with the Mastry Experience.